I don't know if we made the right decision or not by, like, we invested lots of capital at the start to be vertically integrated, which I sometimes question if that was actually a right decision. Because yeah, it's great. Like we've got all this like machinery. I like there's pride, right? There's pride in being able to say like, yeah, we make this ourselves and we put on the labels ourselves. But then there's also this other aspect of like, yeah, is that really the best use of your resources, right? Because I think as a young entrepreneur, we make so many mistakes. And I don't know yet if this is a good, I'll tell you that like all of these things, like it gives us, what does this give us? It gives us flexibility. It gives us flexibility to make as much or as little. We don't have to rely on other people. But at the same time, there's always this sense of like, who's gonna do the work, right? Like, who's gonna do the work? Because at some points in time, it's like, especially during this thing, it's like, it ends up being me, right? Or it ends up being like, you know, some limited groups of people, because it's like, the beauty of the machines is that the machines have helped to, the machinery gives us the flexibility, but it's also like you need to have enough people to, like having someone full time to constantly do labeling. I mean, like you'd have to do white labeling, but we're not a white labeler, right? So there's like all these little kinks that we're still working out as a company that's, you know, nearly 4 years now. And so anyway, I'm here to really show you this label machine because honestly, I think it's pretty cool. And it took me a long time to, especially with these tubes, right? It's like we have these tubes and the tubes are tapered, so you can't use like a regular one, because if you use a regular one, then these little notches on the side are gonna catch. And so if they catch, then the label's off, and then I'm so finicky. I get so pissed. Like, I get so pissed when these, like, I'll show you the blunts, right, after this, but I like neat and tidy, and it needs to be like level. And if it's not level, I get like pissed, because like everything should be in unison. Everything should be the same. Like here's an example here, like this one was off, right? And I also want it to be on the same thing. It needs to be, so I like things being neat and tidy and organized. I can't say organized because we've got some big orders going out and I feel like this shop is a little messy right now. But that's sort of what happens when you have a pallet that is getting ready to ship. But you know, everything takes time, right? And I think the biggest thing is to actually have patience for the work that you're doing and recognizing the amount of effort it takes to figure out something, especially in business where it's like you don't really know. Okay, that should be good. So now, alrighty, so we got this cool little button here. So that basically just is gonna be on the floor. And so, yeah, let's just get this last one here and then I can shine it off. Want to make this baby shine. So I just get this up here. Oh, let's see, is it working well? Everything's good, it's nice and tight. Okay, and bada bing, bada boom, let's show them. First time's the charm. Okay, boom, there we go. Now it just gets in the zone. Now look, I don't like this label. See, it's coming up too much. So if it comes up too much, this needs to be pushed over a little bit. Okay, there we go. Now, because they all need to be the same, or else it's gonna have to be fixed. Now, there we go. Look at that, now we can do it repeatedly. And so, yeah, it's just, I always love this, because it's like, how does this work? How do people get these on the tubes? Because and it's daunting sometimes. And you look at this like, okay, we got a pallet we're going to be shipping out. There's like 15,000 carts on this, and it's just like, oh my God, that's like 15,000 times you're going to have to label this. There's 15,000 tubes, right? There's 15,000 carts that need to be filled, and yeah, not all of it can be automated. So. Yeah, I want you all to see this, because for every one that doesn't work out, right? Like we got some of these here, sometimes the machine ends up doing like a double. And if it does a double, oh no, that one just wasn't up to snuff, I guess. If it's a double, then we got to go back through it and manually take it off and put it on another. It can certainly be testing. That's all I can say. It can certainly be testing. But you know what wonderful things in this earth, you know, when you get tested is your greatest time to shine. So that's our labeling machine and how it works, and then everything gets recollected down here. And then it's just as simple as that. So, Luke, you shouldn't be doing this work, right? Like, I need to be focused on sales. But it's like, you know what? When you've got a self-funded business from nothing, like, I don't know, a lot of people people like to give different advice, but sometimes you just got to do the work yourself. So this is our pride and joy, everybody. Let me just say to you that, like, we used to fill stuff by hand. If you ever notice there's some, you know, sometimes there could be some stickiness or anything like that. Now we have like the most accurate machine on the market. This machine is also made in Oregon, which I love. And not only that, but it's one of the most accurate machines in the world. It can go down to like, I think it's like 0.01 of a mil. So like in terms of the accuracy, it's the same every time. I can put in the batch numbers. Look, let's see, you can have a little look here. Let's see, configuration reporting. I can go back and I can see how many carts were made. Oh, look, HHC pineapple, 480 of them. Oh, look at the times. I can see everything dialed in. You can see, look at this, the 18th here. How many carts, right? Boom, that's probably like 1,200 carts. The other day we did 3,600. I can see all of this and it's all tracked. Okay, so basically there's a camera inside of here. There's a camera inside of here that really focuses in on the carts. Let me actually just show you. Yeah, so very simply, right, how does any of this work, right? So first of all, we always take out the cartridge. We inspect everything, we take a look at it. Okay, everything looks good. We separate out the tips. Separate out the tips from the bottoms. And then we will make sure to put this aligned inside of here. The machine inside is basically looking at the first and the last cartridge, and you can see here that this is not currently aligned. So hold on a second now, I'm gonna focus the camera. So this is basically bringing the camera down inside. It's looking for the cartridge, right? It's looking for that first cartridge on the left-hand side. And as that begins to come in here, you can see on the camera on here, so we're gonna find the bottom right. And this camera here is hyper focusing in, and now we're at the edge of at the edge of the slab. And then we go up to the next one, we're gonna go to the top right. And as you can see in there, it shows you the top right. And now once this is lined up, very simple, the next thing is it basically just starts filling. And so very simply here, you can see now, but I can also look here and I can see the time associated, what's it gonna do, what are we filling? That says 15 minutes, you know, it's typically 9. And yeah, it's as straightforward as that. We have all the different temperature settings. And so once this cartridge is done, I'm gonna show you the next thing. We're still also deciding whether if it's screw on or if it's pushed on. There's benefits to both. But very simply here, you know, you basically take out a cartridge, find the tube, put this on like so. And there you have it. And then once this is okay, this is all good. You love alcohol. You work in this industry, you love alcohol because as you can see, here's some other cartridges that were slightly over full. And so, yeah, basically it's not sealing now. And so this is so much work if there's an error with the machine. Some of them just need to be a little bit cleaned, and we'll take basically just like an alcohol swab and we'll clean it all off. And then if everything is good, then it's like, okay, cool. Bring it over to here, cartridge goes into this, put the cap on, and then we take a CAM verify code and we close it up, and then now it's ready for sale. Honestly, like, it's a lot to even show this because I find myself feeling just like embarrassed, right? Because in my brain, what I see is like a GMP facility. I see this like, everybody in white lab coats, right? It's like, the best of the best of the best. It's like, it's like cricket, right? It's like, here's this warehouse that we're in. But you know what? That's real. And I prefer to be real than like, we had like an 8,000 square foot facility before, and it was just like too much, right? And I want to have something that is, that we can grow into, not something that we're constantly stressing about. And so we learned a lot about cash flow. We learned a lot about, spending too much. And so we've now got everything dialed in here. We can make like really good products and just keep working on that to get to that point of like lab coats, GMP facility, all of that stuff. And this is now, I'm breaking my own rules here because the pre-rolls is not to go on the cartridge table, but for the video, we can allow it. So basically, now we take all of this and we roll it all. And so now it's had like, 24 hours or so. I'm checking out a new infusion technique. It's leaving a little bit of oil here, but if you'd like to know more, we could even teach you how to do your own infusions, if that is something that some people would want. As you can see here, we're actually dealing with some new, this new technique that I was working on is in fact somewhat sticking to the paper a little bit, but it's not too bad. But as you can see, the main way that you really want this is how you want your pre-roll stuff to be, right? Almost like wet sand. So it's that consistency where it's almost running away from itself. Just ever so slightly. It's almost like a little ant mound or something like that. And so this is how you really want it to be. And then after that, this is actually what's going to go into our blunts. And so again, I keep asking myself, are we, should we just outsource this stuff, right? Should we outsource this stuff for somebody else to do it? But then we sort of lose our specialness of like, we make it ourselves, and I pride ourselves on like the best. The West Coast is some of the best. Arguably, Oregon is one of the best places in the world for growing cannabis. And so Oregon already has the best for the best organic wines in the world. And so when it comes to cannabis, we have some of the best to offer. And that's why you want to make sure you know where your cannabis is from. You want to know what you're buying, and that's why our products taste great. It's that is simple. But that's really it. I think that's everything. I mean, yeah, and I'm constantly judging, it's like, nothing's ever good enough, nothing's ever good enough. And I think that's just a part of business, right? Like nothing's ever good enough. I'll show you here. So these are like, here's a pet peeve of mine, right? So we got these bloody labels made. These are for the pre-rolls, and they don't finish perfectly. But you know what? There's a part in business where at some point in time you need to say to yourself, is it too much, Luke? Are you going over the top? And you just got to keep rolling with the punches is really what it is. And so I'll show you this here. This pisses me off so much. Look at this. Ugly. Ugly, 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 ugly. Finished, ground, and ready to be made into pre-rolls. Smells great. That's really how you want your material to be. Just soft, it can barely hold itself up. Be as real as can be, right? Even in terms of as embarrassing as it can be, right? It's like it can be fearful to expose yourself, but it's like, what? It's fucking real. It's real at least, right? So that's really it. I can promise you, we make our own vape carts. We got the best machine in the industry, American made, by the way. Also, there's no one doing it. We're doing it the hard way, right? Like, Yeah, and show me another company that's purchasing everything from the United States. Show me a company that's doing majority of the manufacturing themselves and purchasing all the products from the United States without investors. I haven't found anyone. And I look at the competition. I check in and I see no one. So I also want to say too is that like that also comes at a cost, right? And so we need to grow into the thing that's inside of here. Like this isn't it, you know? And so it's like a constant feeling of just like, oh, nothing's good enough. But that's life, right? And we're growing, and by little making these videos, keeping things positive, right? We learn through life, and you know, there's going to be a point in time I look back at this and look at it and think how good it all was. Even though I look at this like, well, no, this place is not what I want it to be, right? But yeah, we're making changes, we're moving, we're shifting, we're evolving, and that's life. So if there's other stuff you'd like to know, please share. We're wanting to really share as much knowledge and education as possible. So let us know, and I hope you find this video useful. Cheers.